As Hungary is hosting the summit of EU community in Budapest, its infamous leader Viktor Orban may have an unpleasant big surprise for the European leaders who will gather for the meeting. It will finalize the Hungarian presidency of EU Council in the time of uncertain elections in Georgia, undermining its EU aspirations. The edgy vote in Moldova, and probably leaders still won't know the results of the US presidential election by the time of the summit, which is November 7th, 2024. And today we will discuss a material by Rikard Jozwiak, the EU correspondent of Radio Liberty on this topic.
The migration debate could also be interesting, as the EU is becoming much more restrictive in this area. A discussion paper on migration ahead of the EPC meeting, seen by Radio Liberty, notes that the priority in this area will mainly be the fight against human smuggling and trafficking. The paper also notes that we need to be extremely vigilant not to allow people in conflict areas to become tools in the hands of hostile regimes in a hybrid war. And the controversial idea of sending people who didn't get asylum in the EU to so-called return hubs outside the EU will be discussed. Rikard Jozwiak, Radio Liberty correspondent in the EU.
The results of the Hungarian presidency of the EU Council are quite controversial, with EU aspirations of Ukraine being on the pause and some movements for Albania and Montenegro. Another issue are the parliamentary elections in Georgia, which finalized with many accusations of fraud. And Orban supports the winning party, which has recently adopted repressive laws on foreign agents and anti-LGBT legislation, thus drifting away from EU integration and getting closer to Russia with it by adopting Russian-like laws. But the truth that EU is divided on this. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban raced down to Tbilisi to congratulate his political allies, while Europe ministers from 15 EU member states issued a statement at least questioning the fairness of the vote and underlining that Orban wasn't speaking on behalf of the entire bloc.